You don't know.
He's an engineer who likes to build stuff. He's like, this is the whole thing, and I said, well, just, all right, so what he had to do is he would build a square framework.
Bringing them around, Leanne?
And then we would, to the front of it, but it had to be square in the back, and then he would. That was actually.
I grabbed two
challenging. Ma'am, how are you?
Very good.
Thank you.
I would tell you I'm staying out of trouble, baby.
I raised my hand.
Well, you're kind of busy right now with all the election stuff.
Well, somewhere
And
along the line.
98% was against it. Because that's what it amounted to.
Yeah, that counts.
They got guts.
Everybody's got an agenda, ready to rock and roll?
All right, we'll call the meeting to order, the February 22nd meeting with 6:01 with Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call.
Roll call, we have Sarah. Here. Leedy,
Here.
Gifford here, absent Don Zimmerman, Nicole Gibson.
Has anyone heard from Nicole? Nope.
Not a word.
Okay, I do have one amendment, well, two amendments to the agenda. I'm going to get the year right eventually. It is 2024. And I had, instead of, under old business zoning, I really wanted to add F, the ordinance amendment ordinance, or ordinance, wait a minute. Ordinance enforcement ordinance. It's a mouthful.
That's new business?
Yeah, F, and then G would be zoning budget. I realize that we should probably do that under new business instead of old. Is there any other amendments or changes, or?
I think I had no, because I think that's on there about the zoning correspondence, or was that about? Or did we not need to worry about that?
We did that last month as far as the letter. I don't think we've sent it out yet, but
Okay.
I don't think it needs to be. We can talk about it if you want under board
Well, I
comments.
just, I do have the September minutes and contract that specifies that clearly states it was out.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve the amenda as agenda?
You
I'm
say
sorry.
that.
It's been a technology challenge all week, so we've been fighting technology challenges here, so I'm a little bit off kilter. All right, should we approve the agenda as amended?
Sarah will make that motion.
Thank you.
Gifford will second.
I'll try to speak. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Are there any conflicts of interest? I have none.
No.
All right. We have that, I left the line item for guests, or a special order of business. I think we could ask Chris and and a few of our guests to speak under that, so that if they need to get going, if everyone's okay with it.
Yep.
Okay, let's ask Daryl, our county commissioner, to.
Start low and move up from there.
Well, I mean, no one wants to sit through.
Daryl Nelson, County Commissioner. Hello, everyone. I was in charge of the sunshine today, so I'll take credit for that.
Beautiful, good job.
You're a good politician, that's what you do, right? Couple of, kind of the hot topics this month. Has been a busy month, been a lot of things on the front page. I've talked to you guys before about community mental health, Northern Lakes Community Mental Health. We've been working on them. We kind of have felt that they could be a lot better and we could do a lot better. We've been kind of getting into their business a bit. And if you saw on the paper, they had an audit and by the NMRE, which is the regulating authority, and that was not a good audit. They said that there are a lot of activities that you guys work with moving government money around, and they had things like creating documents, moving money without records, all sorts of things like that. So I don't know what they're doing, and now a full forensic audit, the kind of audit that you don't want to be a part of. They're doing that, and a report on that after a few months. So the sad part about that is that that's federal and state money. A lot of it's managed by the state. There are very strict rules about that, and the people that deserve to get the resources from that money were not being served. And some money might have to go back. So that's that. So we're hoping to get them that ship righted. There's a new interim director who's been there a while now, over a year, doing a much better job. But this is stuff that was happening in the past. Beta is suing us. So they don't like the fact that the appointments we were putting on Tuesday in court, Judge Hamlin, they asked for an injunction to stop our appointments to the Beta Board. Also, your connection to the Beta Board, that all the taxpayer money that's being spent there is through your county commissioners, and we appoint the board members. They don't answer, they have to answer anybody except for us. They've been wanting to expand the board and appoint their own people and things like that. We were not in favor of that. So Beta, fast forward, Beta decided to sue us on that, asking for an injunction of us appointing some people. The judge not only refused to give them an injunction to stop that, he said he didn't see anywhere in our local agreement that says that we couldn't appoint the people that we wanted to appoint. So that's probably maybe that suit will go away, I don't know. Grand Traverse Pavilions, we talked about that. There was a huge debt, and the Grand Traverse County was kind of funding that. It's a long story. You don't want to be in government, in a government accounting is fun enough. You don't want to be in healthcare accounting. It's terrible. But anyway, through the help of Jack Bergman's office and getting money they had to rebill all the Medicare stuff and Medicaid stuff going back several years. Anyway, fast forward, they are whole again. That money, there's still much more money coming, but they're back in the black, and they have a very conservative plan moving forward. We set up some dashboards. I was on that committee. We set up some accounting dashboards for them to watch, a few things to hit, and they're exceeding all those levels. So they're doing well moving forward. We were afraid that are you going to get into the situation again? So I'm happy to report that's all good news there. The court system, the northern part of the district is talking about peeling off from the southern part. They're about 15%. I don't think it affects us that much, but we'll see what happens. Antrim County's, they're looking at that. We'll see if that happens or not, but I just mentioned it. Camp Grolic, we're in negotiations to attempt to obtain Camp Grolic to be a county park. That'll put about 2,000 acres all right together there. The intention is not to have speedboat races and all sorts of stuff going on there. Chicken dance is not going to be wafting over any lake at night. That's not the intention. It's a county park. This is what we would look for. And we'll have a very robust community engagement process if we can get that property. So right now it's an if. We don't know if that's going to happen. Traverse City Airport Air Show. I'm also on the Airport Authority Board, and the short story is that airport's not trying to stop the air show. They're trying to limit the time that the airport has to be closed. If you look at where the air show is in Traverse City, it's a 5-mile radius around that, has to close that airport. Most air shows are not within 5 miles of a commercial airline or airport. And you think about the 4th of July weekend, busiest time of year, busiest time of the day. So that 1 to 5 kind of period is the peak part of the day for flights coming in and out. It's not only the commercial flights, but private flights, NMC, all that stuff. So we're trying to put a 1-hour window together for the air show for the high performance, not the other plane. It's just the high performance, like the Blue Angels. And we've got an agreement with the Charity Festival, waiting for their board to agree to that. part of what would happen is one of the practices they're gonna have in the morning, like 8:30 in the morning, to help account for that. So I think we're onto something good there, but you might hear that we're trying to block the air show. That's not what we're trying to do. For instance, Traverse City Airport is the third largest airport in the state. Last year, the state of Michigan had an increase of 370,000 air passengers. So an increase of 370 in the whole state. 31.8% of that was Traverse City Airport. They went from 600,000 enplanements and deplanements to over 700,000. So it's an incredible amount of growth. So it's a busy, it's not, the airport isn't what it was in 2016. So you're getting 65, 70 flights a day that time of year. You can't be closed down for 3-4 hours. It just doesn't work. You couldn't imagine going to the Grand Charles Resort and saying, 4th of July weekend, you gotta close for 4 hours and everybody's gotta get out of the building, and then your staff has to work for the show, and that's 4 days in a row. So we think we've got a good compromise. Traverse City wants us to sign a memorandum of understanding to work with them on solving homelessness. And one of the big solutions to solve homelessness is to open up Safe Harbor for the summer, which Safe Harbor is an emergency shelter. Safe Harbor hasn't even applied for this. They didn't apply for it. As of right now, even if they would apply, it'd probably be July before that can happen, but talk to the board chair of Safe Harbor, they're not exactly interested in that kind of a program. The county, so far, the board has voted against signing that memorandum of understanding because, quite frankly, I think it's a trap to get the county to share in some expenses or some plan. We have our sheriff's department, our community mental health, our agencies, the health department, we're all working with the homeless population. Nobody wants to ignore that situation, but Traverse City's got a problem. And dumping it all on the Safe Harbor in the summer isn't gonna solve that problem. So we are gonna work together but this one answer solution is not the answer. So we've got that crisis center that we're putting in, that will help. We put $5 million for that. I'm hoping that does actually make some help, not just spend some money. So, 2 more things. The facilities management plan that you saw, maybe in the paper, the big price tag of $220 million at the bottom. That we're just starting to get into that. That was an inventory of all of our properties. How can we condense? And they said if you were to write a check right now and do everything in the plan, that's what it would probably cost. Buildings are getting old, we've got some extra buildings, all that kind of stuff. This is just a start of looking at what should we do moving forward. This is probably over a 10-year plan, how we move this out. One of the things we need is we've got a jail that's built from the 60s, and you can imagine that jails now versus how they were in the 60s are a lot different. We've got juvenile detention needs, we've got mental health needs. Our jail deputies are not mental health professionals, but they're at the bottom of the funnel and they're getting all the stuff that the people that can't be out in the public or committed crimes that really need mental health or something else. So we're starting up high and kind of looking at the whole thing and circling down, and who knows what is going to come from that. But don't look at that $220 million and go, oh my gosh, where's that money coming from? The last thing I want to say is for at least this month, we have to be nice to our clerks. Next month, we can be mean to her again, but Leanne, with all the election stuff that's going on with early voting, the 9-day early voting and all of that, all the clerks in this town, in this county are having to figure it out as they go. The state paperwork was coming out like the day before, the day of, training people, staffing these centers. So hats off to our clerks. This has been a rough year for them, so let's be nice to Leanne just a little bit. But don't let it go to her head.
I just wanted to mention something that you didn't mention yet because you haven't filled the position yet, but the county has created a office for community engagement or community development, economic development, so that they will have an actual community development person as a county staff member that will provide service to all of the units of government, and we've been having meetings, the supervisors have been meeting with the county to try to see what that would look like, what the needs would be for all of us. Of course, for me, I think that for the smaller townships, the biggest thing is staff capacity to be able to help us, accomplish some of our goals and, maybe go after some funding applications and things like that. So I appreciate that myself. I did send Nate he said they hadn't filled the position yet, but I sent him a list of places where he could find people that with those qualifications, so hopefully they'll be able to find someone and fill that spot soon. The other thing I wanted to ask you, on the CMH issue, does your errors and omissions insurance kick in at some point on that if you have to pay that money back?
It wouldn't be the county that has to pay that money back.
Or does theirs?
I'm gonna say I don't know the answer to that exactly. There's a possibility that there would be criminal charges will come out of this forensic audit.
So if it's criminal, then errors and omissions won't probably pay it.
I don't know.
Okay.
I
I'm
don't
just
know.
curious.
I don't wanna,
No,
I
that's,
would just be guessing, so
Yeah.
I don't wanna hazard a guess, but
no, that's
we've
fine.
kinda taken the attitude for the last couple of years is there's smoke, there must be fire.
Yeah.
And we've been looking for it and trying to, the interim director, the director that was there before that was interim that they wanted to make permanent, we've put a block to that because, and now it's kind of coming back that maybe that was a pretty good thing. As the community development director, I haven't seen the list, but I understand that there's a good amount of candidates
Oh,
who
good.
applied, so that's good. I don't know the caliber. But just so everyone here knows, this is not a person that is gonna tell the townships what to do. This is a person who is to be aware of development going around all over the county and to assist the townships, like you're saying, with grants and other things, and to be aware of maybe something that's going on over in Kingsley, or like you might know some of that, but maybe organizations that are operating in the county that might be able to do something to help you. So
Yeah,
kind of
most-
just a
Most
person that's aware.
counties, south of here, I'll say from the middle of the state south and all the way across the country, most counties have an economic development person or a community development person. Most of them, for whatever reason, I think the only one north of the middle of this state seems like it's Grayling, I think, has one for Crawford County, and then I think there might be one or two in the UP, but it's common in most counties, we just haven't had that, and when county planning went away, that seemed like that would have been the logical replacement, but it
Right.
just didn't happen until now, so.
County planning was like another step, for developers, it's just another hurdle they had to jump through. This person is not, and that, some of the
Right.
developers have been worried about, oh, great, another hurdle. No, this is the person that is to be your resource.
Right.
And to kind of serve all of you.
Awesome, thank you. Does anyone else on the board have questions? Anyone in the audience have questions for Daryl? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Chris, you want to jump ahead in case you have to?
Chris, hello everybody. Really, in the past like 2 or 3 weeks, we've had multiple arrests for no driver's licenses in the village, just in the village. We've actually towed a car. There's some other issues there as well. Earlier today, about a couple hours ago, I was helping Michigan State Police out. We had an issue that had bled over into Paradise Township. Arrested a parole absconder, individual possession of fentanyl, and then a parole violator, all in the same ticket. So that's kind of the ripple effect from Deputy Stickler's area of responsibility and mine, which we try to work together collectively. For a little history, Deputy Stickler and I were assigned to the interdiction team, which is a directed patrols unit. The Grand Traverse County Sheriff's Office for a few years together, so we kind of have a little bit specialized training. Other than that, it's mainly saturation patrols, trying to establish a couple things. We did take into custody an individual not too long ago from the Facebook post from the Chase downtown. That individual was taken into custody. Other than that, we're still seeing an uptick in overdoses. I'm one of the Narcan distributors in the county. We try to keep everybody up to date on all that training. As a sheriff's office as a whole, we just wrapped up our core training, which included tactical combat casualty care updates, which I'm an instructor for that as well, which covers hemorrhaging, arterial bleeding, controlling that bleeding with tourniquets, chest seals, clotting gauze, different things like that. As we go into our spring months, I'm also one of the the drone instructors, the drone guides, so we keep all that equipment staged, and I have one in my vehicle for search and rescue and different types of capabilities. So other than that, coming into spring strong here, so all up. Thank you.
Thank you. Some of the activity he's referring to started from literally a junk complaint, so I really appreciate your support and all that you did to make all that, the big problem go away, so.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Is there any questions for Chris?
Any questions?
Thanks, sir.
Why so many without driver's license?
It's a combination of things. I mean, you break into some scenarios. We have unfortunately, we have individuals in our community that sometimes don't make the best decisions, which result in suspension. And unfortunately, in some scenarios, the suspension tumbles into multiple suspensions or an inability to pay the fine or an inability to take the class to regain their driving privileges. So when you have a situation like that, we have a majority of our community members that are unable to dig themselves out of that hole. And then it kind of results into a tumble effect. So as a community police officer and as a deputy in the area, I try to work with anybody I can to try to help them out of that situation, but understand that I still have an obligation to enforce the law and protect other drivers. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of a situational thing that we run into. Some people either have suspensions that have lasted 20 years. I've seen that lately, which,
Wow.
I mean, that's unfortunate. They're a result of multiple drunk driving arrests, and some other ones are just individuals that haven't been able to get to the right classes or even been put in touch with the right people to be able to get their license and driving privileges back, so we try to accommodate that as well.
So it's an offshoot of drug and alcohol?
I would say it is a combination of probably poor decisions that were made that would involve a controlled substance, either drugs or alcohol. Yes, sir. That's all I ask, sir.
Thank you for putting it so nicely.
I'm trying.
Completely correct.
Yes.
All right, thanks, I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Consent calendar. So we have items in the consent calendar. Those are to be voted on as a group unless someone wants to pull something from the consent calendar. Is there anyone?
Excuse me, Lisa, before you jump to that, is there any conflicts of interest? Or did I miss that?
No, there were none.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Thank you. Are there any items to be pulled from the consent calendar?
I don't think so.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept a consent calendar as presented?
I'll make that, Gifford will make that motion.
Sarah will second.
Any discussion?
Yeah.
Hearing none, roll call. Leedy? Yes. Gifford?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Carried. Okay, we've been leaving the bills to be paid out of the consent calendar just so that we can go through those. You know, if we wanna-
We have the one, ask the clerk. Let's see. Let me see. It is, oh, I do have, okay. So bills to be paid, I do have this from the Record Eagle. Somewhere along in their accounting department, they missed some lines, so Emily brought this to my attention. They actually owe us money, but their records are kind of screwy. So I have this, and I do show where the check was taken out, where it was deposited, or, cashed, I guess, that we paid them, so just so you know what that's all about. And we still need this from the roof guy, from Levi, I think it was, Ingerson, is that right? We, so we can, before we can cut a check, we need an invoice.
I thought that's already been paid.
No, that was the roof, not the roof guy, this is the generator.
The generator wasn't paid because we didn't have our green sticker, but we have that now.
We do have that now.
Yep.
Okay, so this is okay.
And we do have an invoice for it.
Oh, good, all right, so that's the other green sticker, and then, Township get money back for Pike Lake Area Planning Commission, is over budget, or pay more. So, when they put in the amount, the base amount, if she needs to know how close they need to pay attention. If it goes over, what do we do if it goes under, what do we do?
So we are only, by the ordinance, when we vote in their budget, which their budget's on the agenda tonight, when we vote in their budget, within 30 days, we have to cut a check to the village for the full amount of our half. We aren't paying their bills because the village is their fiduciary by the ordinance. So we shouldn't be doing anything with that, and I know that we did last year, so we still have a little bit to sort out, but I think, Tom's here. I know that we still have a little bit to work through. I went through all of the planning commission minutes, and I went and I totaled all the invoices for last year to try to figure out if I could match up where they are for the year. The issue we're having is their fiscal year is the calendar year, ours is July, and the village's is May, or March. So trying to align it with everyone's fiscal year has been slightly difficult. So my recommendation to them was to switch their fiscal year to the same as the villages. I don't know if that happened, if anyone's here that was at that meeting. I wasn't at that meeting, but do you know if that happened?
Maybe it did.
Okay, so I think they should switch their fiscal year to the same, match the villages, because they're part of the village audit. So if they match it to there, at least it'll match one of us. But I have almost all of that completed for last year, but moving forward now, we'll start with a clean slate. So if we pass the budget, then we will write a check, and the check will be in a lump sum to the village for the year's total, and then the village is a fiduciary, and we won't have those bills. We should only have the one bill for the insurance that we paid. And then the difference from that to the check that we wrote to the village for, I think last year their budget, we paid out 10,000 or something like that. We paid out less than 2,000 for that insurance. We subtracted that from it, and then we voted to send them the rest of it in one lump sum. So that's what they should have. So then from there, she should be tracking expenses with the village and Marcia at the planning commission, just to kind of make sure that they're staying within. That's where we were trying to get a budget to actual.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
she just wants to make sure if we go over that budget, or if at the end of the year, at the end of the day, if it's under, what do we do with that extra?
Yeah, and I made a couple of recommendations. One was for them to get a treasurer, so they could actually keep track of it internally as well, the planning commission, to make sure it matches up, and I think they did that at the last meeting. Then the other thing that I think that we need to do, and Tom and I talked a little bit about this before, but it's been a little bit chaotic for both the village and the township, so we don't have it on the agenda this month. But maybe at the next month's meeting, we can update the ordinance for the planning commission and identify that, because the reason that it's in limbo is it's not identified in the ordinance what to do with that money. So if we can get some clarification, maybe Tom and I can sit down with Marcia and talk about that, and then we can get some ordinance language and just update that ordinance. I don't think it's nothing earth-shattering, it's just there's some things in the ordinance that restrict them because of the way it's written in there, where it doesn't have to be in the ordinance language, and then there's other things that we could put in there to give them direction so they know what happens every year, so everyone knows what happens to that money. So,
All right, lastly, I have asked clerk, it's basically our election legal line. We don't, we've got everything combined in general pretty much, no, except for, I don't know if the planning, some of the other ones are separate. The one thing that we didn't is the election legal, and the thing is the reason we need to have it separate is because sometimes, like the special election through the school pays for that, so I have to separate every expense to send to the school. So she would like that to be a separate line, just so all the expenses for the election go on the election, including legals, which we really don't have.
we will moving forward, because that's how I'm building the budget now, is, I had a call with the treasury today with the new chart of accounts, the updates. So we're pretty close with the chart account numbers, but we're not by department. So when we do the new budget, I'm working on it right now, and I gave you the zoning budget portion today, just because we're talking about zoning. They'll all look like that, so every department will have its own legal, have its own mileage, it'll have its own whatever, so we know the clerk's department has its own budget, the treasurer's department has its own, zoning has its own, elections have their own budget, and then all the line items that go in there will be in that department. That way we'll be able to have that broken out, so that for audit purposes, it'll make it a little cleaner, but then also, we can also identify the revenue and the expenses for every department, so.
And then, which is good that this legal came up, so I'm sorry,
Yep.
township people, me included, residents, everybody. So this new early voting, proposal 2, came at us like crazy, right? And so when you're like, call the county, ask them a question, I don't know if they don't know, they call the state, I don't know if they don't know. Well, it come down to the end of the day, some specific things should have happened that may or may not have, and mostly they have. I mean, nothing malicious for sure. But so I was supposed to send actual postcards to every single voter that told them where the early voting station, even though so I was under the understanding that we could put it in our newsletter and send out with our taxes. That's what I was understanding, but that was not the case. So it still has to be, you know, because our taxpayers, there's not every single voter gets a tax bill. So I will, before the August election, we will make sure this happens. Every single voter will receive a postcard telling them where our early voting is and when it starts and stuff like, it'll be kind of, actually, it'll just be 9 days before the election. There won't be dates listed because we don't always know when the election dates are. But this is how it will happen, 9 days before the election, this is where you will early vote. So those postcards are gonna have to happen, just, you know, just FYI, if you see me in handcuffs, that's what I do.
And the early voting is in East Bay Township?
It's everywhere, well.
No, for you, for.
Paradise.
No, ours is Paradise, ours is
Oh, you're Paradise, okay.
at Paradise Township, yep. There's probably 3 or 4 of them in East Bay, and then Blair, I think, is with somebody. Sharon's on her own at Union, so I think Whitewater might be with East Bay, I'm not sure. So, I mean, there's, you know, it can be confusing for sure, and we do have it on our building, we have it on our website, county has it on their website, so it's not that the information was not shared, it just has, the postcard is an additional thing that has to happen, so. But, does everybody know where early voting is? Here, not here. Show this girl right here. Thank you, Joanne, so much for your services. She's been participating as an election worker at the, so has Kay, at the early voting station in Kingsley. And it's going well, I'm assuming that.
It is.
Pretty slow.
Very slow.
From what I can see, the numbers coming through, like, the first day of it, I think they had 6 voters, maybe 9, I'm not sure. So from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., 3 to 4 people were there Saturday, Sunday, and so Monday she dropped it down to 3. Lisa Gulliver did.
Today we have 3.
Yeah, so she, you know, we're learning as we go, and so 3 people, you have to have 3 at least.
Yeah.
So they're doing the 3 people, and they may find that August and November will be a little busier, so.
It'll be different, I think, too,
Yeah,
the process.
yeah, well, you know, we'll have that under our belt, and I think that the proposal 2 didn't come with instructions, and I think they've been making the instructions as they go.
Yeah, they have.
So the instructions should be
That's what they're doing.
complete by August, so
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking.
The governor said it's unbelievable the amount of people that are voting early.
I think she's,
Full
that's,
of poo-poo.
It is unbelievable that 9 people voted. and
That's what she said.
I was with that.
yeah.
Thousands.
Yeah, it's just not, maybe where she's at. Maybe.
People don't understand.
I voted early on Monday, Liberty Township, City of Manton combined, and I was voter number 4 in 3 days.
And people don't understand the process. They don't.
They don't,
It
they
was
don't.
very light as well,
It'll get better next time.
early on.
It's the first time.
Yeah, so as I say, by the time next year comes, we might have a full list of instructions.
So, do you have anything else on the bills?
On the bills, I do not think I do. I gave her a KFC one, no, it's not KFC, it's
KCI.
KCI. I must be hungry, I don't know. KCI, I gave her that, so that's already included
Okay.
in our bills to be paid. So everything actually that we have should be already included.
All right, is there a motion to pay the bills as presented? Sarah will make that motion.
Gifford will second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Gifford?
Yes.
Sorrow?
Yes.
Sweetie, yes. Motion carries. All right, citizen comment. Is there anyone that wishes to speak?
I've got some Civic Center South information, but I see it's on the agenda under new business. Would you like me to speak then?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's talk about it then.
Sounds good.
Awesome, thanks Charlie. Anyone else? Shane?
Yeah, so I just noticed on the agenda that Skybox is up for renewal, and I remember at last month's meeting I mentioned about the park that was excluded, and I remember I was in that meeting, the reason it's excluded, one member said because we always excluded it, or something of that nature. But it certainly confers, let me just pull this up here, the spot that would confer a special benefit to the individual property owner not commonly enjoyed by the owners of similar property. So that part of the zoning confers a special benefit to Skybox, which all the other owners of property in the township would have to comply with the setbacks from parks, right? And there was no reason for excluding it, except for we always did, right? And so I think if you grant renewal to Skybox, it's done, it just, you know, they're open because spot zoning occurred. And if we're prudent about what we do, and take that spot zoning out, then either we have to go back to planning commission and change the zoning that it goes across the board, or we, you know, go ahead and approve it and we figure out what happens next. So, that's all I had.
Thanks
You
Shane.
guys are awesome.
Thanks Shane.
You bet.
Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else for public comment? Okay, hearing none, we'll move along. We're gonna jump down to the fire and ambulance report. I actually didn't attend that meeting because Nicole's been texting me and telling me when she can't attend because I'm the alternate, but I didn't hear from her and I had another engagement that night. So I don't have a report for that, and I don't see anyone here, but if they come, we'll let them jump in. And she didn't attend, so neither one of us attended. I did let them know that I wasn't gonna be there. Fight Lake Village, Tom, do you have anything to?
Yeah, not a lot going on. A couple things, we just did hire a part-time DPW employee. He hired him as of, he got approved as of Monday. He's actually one of the guys from Seward. So unfortunately, we took one of Ray's boys, but he's still within the village. So we got both our full-time, part-time filled now. Both of them are doing a good job. I'm hoping, knock on wood, we're through the winter, at least the worst of it. Learned a lot of stuff we're gonna do next year, but, you know, all I ask is community bear with us, because it is a learning process. We basically went out there cold and tried to figure it out. We didn't even know the routes. We're out there kind of walking around trying to figure out what streets we're supposed to be doing. So, work in progress, but I think from when the first time we did it till the last snowstorm we had, I saw a lot more improvements in the way we did it, and more efficient. So, more to come on that. Right now, the big thing is we're getting ready for spring cleanup. We're checking all the equipment, kind of checking out the parks and the roads, make sure what we really have to do this spring, because we think it's going to be an early spring for us, based on this weird weather we're getting right now. The most popular subject everyone knows about is RV park. That's still on our table. We're still working that out. More to come on that. And then our zoning administrator, we are going to be posting for a zoning administrator. I'm sure everyone knows that Ron Roaring passed away. And he was our zoning, so there will be a posting. In the meantime, we're going to be using an interim zoning person. And that'll at least get us through some of this rough spots. But we hope to have somebody in position by this summer, is our goal. And I guarantee you there's stuff I missed, but I can't think of it right now.
I have two things. One, on your DPW streets, I sent you an email, but it was just a little while ago before you got here today, so you probably didn't see it. Well, first of all, I'm gonna say what helped me when I was first in and I didn't know was the street committee. So if you get the street committee kind of reconvened, George was on it, and they helped me a ton to know what all the routes were, all the historians of the town, of knowing the road stuff, helped me a ton, so that might help you. But also, on the road striping, the storm drain cleaning, and the brining, right now, the road commission is getting ready to put their orders in, so if you wanna get in on their bulk pricing, I would reach out to them
Okay.
and try to get that figured out, what you plan on doing, because they're asking for that commitment, this month, so.
Sounds good, thank you.
And then are you guys setting up the spring cleanup for the actual trash cleanup, and do you have a date for that?
We don't have a date, but we are setting it up. I just got something from GFL today. They want to confirm that we are going forward with it again. So, yeah, we will, more to come on that.
Okay, that's fine, I just wanted to make
Now,
sure
there
that
has
it
been some
wasn't.
talk on that, about maybe doing township/village massive cleanup. Incorporate the spring cleanup, they dump off the trash, to maybe hitting the parks and stuff. So the chamber has approached me on that, more to come.
Okay, just let us know, I wasn't sure if you guys were still taking the lead on that, or if we were supposed to
And now
do
we
something.
split that, I think that cost, we split the 50/50 between the township and village.
Okay, awesome.
Did I say 60/40?
Yeah, I did hear 60/40, so it is generous of you to pay 60%. As a village taxpayer though, and a township taxpayer, I think it really doesn't matter. All right, Debbie's not here for the chamber, Linda's not here for the UDA. Cemetery. Okay.
Lisa Flamondon and I had met, and there's like 3 pages in the packets. I'm only going to touch on a couple things. Number 1, do we need to go out for bids for the mowing in the spring and fall cleanup?
I mean, we usually do, but I don't know if it's required that we do every single year, but we usually do.
I would say I think we probably should, because, for this reason, I don't think we necessarily need to go out every year, but I think that because we've expanded the size of the cemetery, we've changed the parameters of the program, so we probably should, just so that we're, being diligent with, getting that out there, so. I also put it on the agenda because I wasn't sure how you wanted to handle it, so do you want me to work with you on, or work with Lisa on developing like an RFP, or?
Yeah, because we're going to need that. The dirt spreading on the road we're closing, or we did close. And also the cleaning, the roots and everything of that new section and get that seeded. So we've got 3 things going on.
Okay.
We want to get going, like Tom said, spring, maybe you'll be here quick, and
Sure.
we want to stay on top of that. So the road that is blocked right now with the stumps, Roger Gibson will remove those for us when we're ready with no charge.
That was part of the thing that needed to be done, right? It needed done before the stumps were still there.
They're only there to close the road.
Oh,
Until we
okay.
the benches that we had made are going to be there, but we gotta make sure everything's done at once when we're
Gotcha, okay.
closing that. The new benches will be set. The American Legion will be giving us 2 new flags for each of the cemeteries. The lot markers. She has a cost in here. We need to mark the new section for selling graves. And also Fife Lakes markers have all been replaced from the cans with this concrete in them, the tin cans. Walton has not, and we'd like to do that. So Lisa had a bid for everything that we need of $869 to take care of Walton and our new park. So I would like to ask for that, if we could.
Keep going for a second.
Okay,
I just want to make sure we have money in that.
We plan on doing, all the headstones need to be photographed and the digital files need to be upgraded. It's been 10 years. There are several Civil War veterans in unmarked graves at Fife Lakes Cemetery. The VA will provide headstones if we provide foundations and labor. Some research still needs to be done to verify that the veterans actually are in our cemetery, and data for Walton needs to be added. When a final number is determined, we can figure out what size foundations will be needed and figure out what the cost of for the concrete. This should be a very affordable project if we pour our own foundations. Unmarked veteran graves from other eras would be the next goal. Future projects, we'd like to place cemetery maps on both well houses and adding a searchable database to our website to assist people in searching for graves of family members. So those are a lot of wish things that we would like to get going, but the markers is the only thing I'm asking for right now.
So, right now, we're over budget by $3,500 in cemetery, and we're gonna add the markers, and then we're going to add the spring cleanup, and then the spring work until our budget year changes on July 1st. Do you know how much it normally costs for spring cleanup and that amount of time of like the mowing and the whatever work we do? Because we're gonna have to amend the budget to be able to accommodate this.
Do you have an idea? Because I know it's separate.
I'm 6,000 is popping into my head around there.
For the whole year, or for just that portion until we change fiscal years?
The spring.
Well, the spring isn't that much.
It's not the 6,000. The 6,000 is for the whole year, isn't it?
I'm thinking, yes.
Okay, so 6,000 for the whole year,
Which
869 for the markers.
I think that includes the spring cleanup.
I'm thinking so
6,000.
too. But I mean, we don't have his quote, or his bill, or any of their bids right now.
Okay, so we're going to have to do a budget amendment first. So we're going to have to amend, because we're already 3,500 in, and then the 869 is gonna put us almost another 1,000 in. So it's mostly in contract services, so it's mostly in
Yeah.
our,
For the clearing and all
Yep.
of that is what threw us into that.
okay. So all right, so I'll make a motion to move out of fund balance $8,000 into cemeteries, which is 101-567-000.
You said 8,000, right?
Yep. And that'll take care of what we're over right now, and then hopefully the work that we've got going on. We're just gonna have to watch that, because it's tight. Is there support for that motion?
I'll support that. Gifford?
All right, is there any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call. Gifford?
Yes.
Lee? Yes. Sorrow?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Okay. Now, we can talk about the markers.
Okay. That's the best price she's been able to find at affordablefuneralsupply.com. And she's got the breakout in all your packets. But the total is, with shipping and all the engraving, is $869.
And it's below our threshold where we have to seek multiple proposals. So, $630 for the markers, $125 for the engraving, $114 for the shipping, for a total of $869. Are they like heavy?
Very heavy. The last ones we got, they're
I just
heavy.
wondered because the shipping seemed high.
Yes, they're very heavy.
All right, is there a motion to get new markers for the price of not to exceed $900 for the Walton Cemetery?
Gifford, I'll make that motion.
Sarah will second.
Are you referencing affordablefuneralsupply.com or no?
That's where that bid came from.
But in the motion.
I don't think it's necessary. If she finds it cheaper, then
Yeah.
carry on.
Not not to exceed the amount.
The
Yeah.
nine, right.
All right, you ready, Kay? Okay, any other discussion? All in favor, roll call. Leedy, yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Gifford? Yes. Motion carries.
I will have Lisa get with you, and she can order them with the card. Okay. With you, and then have her get with you for the
Yeah.
bidding.
I can work with her on an RFP and get that circulated for the work that has to be done.
You.
Hopefully she knows what has to be done.
I'll talk to her tomorrow.
Yep.
Okay, that's
Is that all
enough
for
for
cemetery?
today.
All right. Okay, roads. You'll see some new artwork on the walls, everyone. I attended a road meeting which may or may not have ended with me on the front page of the Record Eagle asking to address local roads in general. This map over here came from the road commission. The PCI data is like their PASER ratings. The ratings consist of good, satisfactory, fair, poor, very poor, serious, or failed. The bottom two are serious and failed. The red and black circle over there, you see the pie chart, that is our local roads. They are serious and failed. We don't have any that aren't serious and failed. We probably already knew that though. There'll be a quiz at the end. So that one is our brining, proposed brining map. This one is just our Fife Lake number of miles or whatever. I thought it would be fun just to leave these up here to remind us, because they were so kind to give us these little tiny drawings that I blew up and printed them and brought them in. Because I thought it would be really, we don't want to lose sight of the fact that our local roads are all serious or failing. So we already know that, but what I've asked them to do is, I've asked the road commission to not say that the roads, the matching funds or whatever are always the same kind, and this is the only way we can get that. I've asked them in a challenge format of how can we do better? How can we find creative ways to fund local roads in general? Because I can cry about Lakeshore Drive all day long, and then I'll get it funded eventually, and then we'll get it paid, but then there's gonna be another road. So, like, let's take a big step back and figure out how to fund local roads, and then what's the bigger solution for all of the townships and not just us? Because ultimately, all of these roads belong to who? Not to the township, they belong to the road commission. So we are the ones that hear it from all of you. You guys are the ones that drive it, we drive it. But they all belong to the road commission. So theoretically, they've gotta figure out how to manage their budget because, or come up with some creative funding because we haven't had any local road attention in quite some time, according to the evidence here. So I do have an agenda item as well relating to roads, which is the brining agreement next, but I just wanted to make that point that I did attend, I have been attending those supervisor meetings on the regular, and I have been asking questions. I've asked what was known as a 2-part question that turned into a 9-part question. I guess I feel like I really didn't know very much when I started in the village, and somehow I managed to find money because I asked and I showed up for things. And when someone told me no, I asked again. So I feel like it shouldn't be different when you're funding something else. So that's what I have the expectation of. And I'll say that Dan Watkins, who is, I think he's not interim anymore. Did you guys, do you know if they appointed him as full? He's full, right?
Yes, yep.
Okay, he's great, and he's a great communicator, so I think he'll do well. I like Larry Lacrosse, the GIS guy, he's pretty sharp too. They have a new old bean counter guy that they've just brought back from before. I did ask him to get with Tom on Act 51 because he's very experienced in Act 51 reporting. So I thought maybe there could be some collaboration there, especially shared roads like Anthony Street. But there's new energy there, I guess I'll say. I also have a document in front of you behind the road agreement. On the back page is some money that the road commission has allocated to each township to spend on in-house engineering for projects that we want done. And our total is $32,400 each year. We get to keep it for 3 years or something like that. And we've not used it because they haven't done Lakeshore Drive. So it's not real money, it's like their own engineering money that they'll allocate for each township, and they have a set amount out of their budget that the road commission board allocates. And what I asked is challenge, and then what Paradise Township, challenging them to find out new ways. What Paradise Township supervisor suggested was that we be able to pool these funds with other townships to make a bigger pot so that we could get a project done faster. Because I guess they were told before I was in office that they couldn't do that. Supervisors were told they couldn't do that. So it was ironic that he brought that suggestion up, because it's exactly how the Rural Task Force Board, the 10C Gas Tax Board that supports 3 counties, that's exactly how they do their projects. The Grand Traverse, Benzie, and Leelanau counties pool their money, and they put it toward one big project instead of each of them trying to come up with the crumbs to do a small project. Like one year, Lindy Road got done when I was on that board, and one year there was a project in Sutton's Bay, and Grand Traverse got money one year. So they kind of just, passed their pot around to the other counties to make sure that everybody can do a bigger project with that money. So I think that could be coming. After, I guess, being told before they couldn't, we put some pressure on. I feel like all of us are really enthusiastic about that method. And I think there might be an opportunity to have a new look at that. So maybe we could pool efforts with another couple of townships. Union Township might be one that, they don't have very many roads except for gravel roads. Paradise has a willingness to want to partner with us. Maybe Mayfield or some of the other ones would want to partner where we could kind of split that money back and forth. So that could be an option to help move that forward. I did ask for the project list for this year, which ironically, at my job, they are bidding out projects. I can see all the projects they're bidding out. And they are bidding out projects, but they don't have the project list. So I sense that the project list was kind of maybe going to come out after that supervisors meeting, and so it'll be interesting to see what projects end up on that list. Moving on to the brining agreement. In front of you is the cost for the brining. There's the map right there that they proposed. The grand total is $19,108, and they're going to use that new brining product that they've been using, which is supposed to hold those gravel roads better, hold them together longer. So if you use that, the more you use it, the longer it gets onto that gravel road, the less you have to use it moving forward. Like if you do it a few treatments, then you can spread those out a little bit farther along, and they're not as, they don't break down as quick. So let's see, our portion of they would cover 50%, we would cover 50%. So our portion of the county maintained is $14,551, or the non-county $41,35, and what they classify as undefined on there is $521. So for a total of 20 miles, 20.61 miles. So we have 3 options. We can adopt this just the way it is. We can adopt this with only some of the roads brined, or we can have none of the roads brined through them. So
I think we should do what we've done in the past. I think they all should be done.
Is that an option?
yeah, we can do all 3. We could do all 3 options. We could do just some of the roads, which are, we'd have to decide. But we have to decide fairly soon, because they're trying to get these contracts back so they can buy their bulk purchase of whatever that product is, so.
Yeah, I agree with Kath on that one, for sure.
All right.
I would like to know why my road is not on the list of roads.
Can't say that.
So would I.
Daryl, you have some ice and logging trucks and RVs.
No,
So would we.
just wiener dogs. But it's a seasonal road, so.
Right.
But I asked him, I went to the meeting and I did ask, why is this is a road? And I like down to it, so why isn't it on the map? So
I didn't know that,
I didn't either.
but
I
they
was
did
shocked.
yours.
They do Elliott Road. And they don't, I mean, that's fine, I just don't understand, like, in the big picture, it's not a road listed within Grand Traverse County, and it should be, so. I'll figure that out someday.
Okay, so, I don't know how you guys have done this in the past, so I guess I'm asking for guidance on, where you have taken the money from in the past. I do not see it on the budget. So that's my next
Road
question.
commission. The roads?
We have to pay for 50%.
Would we take a vote before?
It's 2 burn applications.
Yeah, and the road.
The township pays,
Where am I at here?
the township pays 50%, and then if we want any seasonal roads, like your road or public access roads, or any of that, we have to pay 100%. Or anything beyond 2 applications.
That would explain why mine was.
Yeah, and honestly, I looked through, I did not see, I could not find the past, but we had a lot of technology issues this week with our internet down and our intermittent email problem and our intermittent access to things, so, I'll say that, I could not find where we have budgeted for this, so.
Can we do it every year?
Well, that's not a shocker.
Well, I'm not gonna say anything else.
While you're looking at that, I'm just kind of calling up minutes from last year.
Did they
Looks like it
indicate?
was in April's meeting, just to see where we addressed it.
I have a road and street maintenance line item, but it was Grand Cal, and it's overspent, so
Was that that culvert?
yep. So I'm just trying to establish where that would be, because I didn't see brining on here at all.
Said there was $20,000 budgeted for this expense.
Yep.
Where?
I saw that,
With the,
under the Grand Cal, it says, oh, wait, no, wrong item. Grand Cal, it does say, 22,000, it's not overspent, I'm sorry, I looked at one line too low. These lines in here. So, it's under Grand Cal maintenance. Do we have a maintenance agreement with the Kalkaska County Road Commissioner or something, or Grand Traverse, or Grand Cal? Does anyone know what that is?
That's
I'm
not
not aware of it.
well.
but I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't with the county, just because of the 4 seasons that we have out there. You know, I know they did figure that out at one time. And it had to be with communication and agreements.
Well, I couldn't find anything on it, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I just didn't see anything that was easy to identify, just that Grand Cal item. It is in the overall budget item of roads and streets. So if that money isn't committed elsewhere, we could use that money. I just don't know what that is, so, or if we have an obligation there. I didn't find any notes on it or emails, so. Okay, how about we do this? How about we vote to approve the branding agreement contingent upon verifying that we don't have that money already committed elsewhere? And then I will get with Ryan, the auditor, and ask him, or Emily, and ask them if they know, or who, well, I'll ask the road commissions, if they know if we have any other obligations or why that money would be. If I can ask all the people and find out, do we have something hanging out there? Because that's how we ended up upside down on the special assessment district, is we didn't find out if there was something hanging out there. So,
Is that your motion?
yeah, I'm happy to make that motion. And we won't spend it if we can't find out that it's clear that it's not committed elsewhere.
Okay, Sarah will second that.
Can I get the verbiage for that?
Yes, I'm making a motion to go ahead and approve the branding agreement with Grand Traverse County Road Commission contingent upon verifying the availability of funds in budget item 101 2020-446-000. Did you split?
I separate, yes.
Any discussion?
Lisa, do you want to see what was listed in that last year? There were certain additional roads specified, or is that down the line?
Well, in the branding agreement or in the budget item?
In the binding agreement?
So the branding agreement already has the roads attached to it on there, so I'm not gonna worry about that.
Okay.
However, I did look into last year's to see what that was, and it looks like we did have some expenses in there outside of branding in that line item. So I just wanna make sure before we spend the money that we know we have it, so. And then if for some reason we don't have it, then we're probably gonna have to maybe schedule a special meeting or something to figure that out, so that we don't lose our chance for branding, because
Right.
that's important.
So we're marking this, the first line, right?
Yep.
And number of applications?
2 is what they're planning on doing.
Okay.
But I did talk to them about this, but they said we do the branding and they don't necessarily know how we do the budgeting, but I didn't ask about Grand Cal Road, and since the money in the budget is in Grand Cal Road, I'm just not sure about that, so.
Right. Yeah, kind of a worksheet, and then I can.
Okay. All right, is there any other discussion on that item? Hearing none, roll call, Lee, yes, Gifford,
Yes.
Sorrow?
Yes.
Okay, carried. And then I'll get that resolved in the next day or two, and if I run into a problem, then we may have to schedule a special meeting to get that under control. Okay, we have marijuana license renewals. I had a request from Eckler for their place, but I never got the documents. Is anyone here from Eckler? Nope, okay. So we'll just move that off the agenda for this time. I did get the 2 Venus applications, which is Skybox and I think it's the retail and the grow.
They're right here.
Yep, thank you. It's the same as the one we did last month. And just for point of clarification on Shane's public comment, we're renewing the license, not the land use. So just so you know, it's the license application. So,
And they did do, the state did do a whole sign thing and change that up, because we never did it, because it was something brand new, so.
okay. So what we're approving today is their license, their retail and their grow license. Or not approving if we don't approve it.
They are paid,
Okay.
or I did
Yep.
get the money for them.
Yeah, they wrote the full check. Is there a motion to address the Skybox retail application? How about we do them one at a time?
Sarah will make that motion.
Real second.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Now, Venus Grow application, it was in the same packet. Is there a motion to approve? Their renewal?
Gifford will make the motion.
Sarah will second.
Any discussion?
I didn't see anything that proves it's good. You know what I mean? They didn't have to be in line.
When I was in Lansing, I talked to the licensing bureau or whatever on our applications, and there were no deficiencies, I guess, I don't know how they characterize it, but no issues or whatever, so.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, Civic Center South. Charlie, do you want to?
All right, thank you. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Charlie Jetter. I'm on the Mayfield Township Board. I've been there for just about 15 years. I'm assigned to the Civic Center, and I am the Civic Center Chair. So this worked out great that I see that it's on your budget. I'll just give you an update on the Civic Center for the people that maybe don't know where it is. It's south side of Kingsley, turn at the old cast iron skillet, head south and you'll run right into the park. There's 2 baseball diamonds, we've got 4 soccer fields, and 2 disc golf courses. Disc golf has taken off and it's exploded. We had a friend of mine was in California talking to a person in an airport. Where are you from? Oh, I'm from Traverse City. And he's like, no way, I've been to Kingsley to your disc golf. They got a world-renowned disc golf course down there. And he's like, okay, small world. So the park is very busy. And I don't know why we didn't start this a while ago, but I started taking stats for people that register when they come in to either play baseball. We have what's called Rec League Baseball, which Fife Lake's part of that, and we have Rec League Soccer. So the soccer coaches, they put a line item on their application or their entry from what township you were from. And Fife Lake Township had 30 families using the park. Just to give you a comparison, Mayfield, which you'd think would be a little bigger, we had 29. So you guys actually beat Mayfield Township. Blair Township had 12, East Bay had 6, Fife Lake had 30. We had 5 families from Garfield Township using it, 3 from Grant, 4 from Green Lake, 1 from Long Lake, 117 from Paradise Township, and then 1 from Union and 19 from the village. So we had a total of 227 kids that played soccer in the fall. I imagine Rec League Baseball is going to be the same, but I don't have those numbers yet. Our budget year is just, that's why you got your renewal information. Our budget year starts April 1st. It's just like, I think it's just like yours. Ends in March, starts April. I did some research on our bylaws because Fife Lake Township had 2 members on the board. And I think it was kind of misconstrued that the members had to be, one of them had to be on the board, or maybe both had to be from the board, and they do not. The board can take anybody that's a Fife Lake, actually, it doesn't even say Fife Lake Township resident, it says Grand Traverse County resident. They can take a Grand Traverse County resident, preferably living in Fife Lake, because they could report to you. You, as a board, can appoint them, if they're interested, to the Civic Center South. Now, they would be making decisions on your behalf, but really the decisions that we make, there's plenty of time to come back to your board. I'm always available for, an email, a call, anything. I can come down and talk again. So I just wanted to bring that up, that if you have anybody in the township that's interested, you can appoint them to the board, because there's 2 vacant spots. I had to do a little cleaning in Kingsley. We've got that issue cleaned up, so now Kingsley's got a full board, or full representation for the Civic Center. The way it works is Kingsley is the only organization that has 3 representatives, the village. I don't know why, that's just the way it was set up way back in the day when the park started. Everybody else has 2. So there's 2 from Mayfield, there's 2 from Paradise, there's 2 from Fife Lake, and then there's 3 from the village. That makes up our board. So I think that's really all I really wanted to bring up to you, is that your people are using the park. 30.
So I have a question, because you and I talked about our lack of attendance from our members.
Sure.
That has caused you guys to not have a quorum numerous times. And we put our committee seat out, and we know it doesn't have to be board members that are on there, but I do appreciate you clarifying that. And we've got it on our website, we've put it out there, we've talked about it at some of the meetings, but we have not had any interest at this point. How is that gonna impact you having meetings?
I'm good now, because I cleaned up the Kingsley. We had an issue with Kingsley also not attending.
Right.
So I don't know if anybody knows Greg Chandler. He took a position on the board, and that will, really, we should not have that problem going forward anymore. We were always 1 person short. 1 person. So I think we've got that filled. So if you need more time, we can get it. And the other thing I was just thinking too, I might be able to do a little research and see who these 30 people are, these 30 families. A lot of times, the parents that are there want to be involved, they want to be on the board. I could try to find out who this is and reach out and say, hey, Fife Lake's looking for somebody, are you interested? I don't mind doing that if it's okay with you.
So we have the renewal on the agenda, we have the request in the packet, it's $2,500, I believe. What's the pleasure, what do you guys think? What's your thoughts?
And I can give you a breakdown too, I have the budget here. So the Village of Kingsley pays $10,000, Paradise Township pays $7,500, Fife Lake is $2,500, Mayfield is $5,500, and then the county contributes $20,000, and they did an agreement where I believe it was for 3 years at $20,000, and this is our third year. So I'm not sure what will happen in the future with that money coming in.
You said 20 for the county?
20 from the county, yep. And then we have a concession stand, if anybody's been there, and we get 5% of their revenue for using the building, the electricity, and it's Hangry's. They're the same company that's been up at the ice skating rink at Howe Arena at Center Ice, and they do a fantastic job. It's Gina and Keith Hamling, and we've had great compliments from everything that they've done up there, and they've been a really good asset to the park.
Do the sports teams contribute out of their pay per play? Do they contribute to the maintenance or anything? Does any of the money that they collect for the fee that the players play go toward?
So what we do is we charge $5 a child. So $5 a kid. We tried to raise that a couple years ago, and it filled the entire the entire village office. I had people calling me at 11, 12 o'clock at night mad because it is not the purpose. Everybody else is paying for this. We should have the $5 rate. So as long as I'm on the board, I probably will never try to raise the rate. We'll try to find money somewhere else because I learned quickly not to do that. But yes, it's $5 a player. And what we do is I'll schedule like a work bee with our maintenance person. So we hired a new maintenance person. His name is Jim Cogwell. He lives right in the subdivision right next to the park. And we try to schedule work bees. So coming up is baseball. We'll have the baseball team, the rec league, and we'll bring in Diamond Dust and they'll help cut the fields and spread it. So we can save on money that way for expenses for the maintenance.
What other questions do you guys have?
Well, that's what I was concerned about, like, I know my kids in sports, we always had to pay, like, say hockey, you gotta pay for your ice time, it's
Yep.
$1,000, you know? You could, it's unfortunate that we do have to pay for sports, but we do, and in any other aspect or area of education, it seems like, and this is, I don't know how the soccer comes from the school, or if that's just
Nope, it's
something
all
that-
rec league. It's all independent. The school does use the field. They'll request it for, I think they call it Pee Wee football. They'll request the soccer fields to practice on, and we don't charge anything for that because it's very minimum use. They squeeze it in where they can. So we've never really pursued charging for that. But the other stuff is outside of school activities, and the teams are responsible for collecting the $5 and then paying it to Deb Nickerson, our lady. We try to keep it low because everybody contributes. The townships contribute. And disc golf, they have had tournaments, and we do charge for the tournaments. I think last year, we had 5 or 6 tournaments that were there. I don't have the exact numbers on what we generated for revenue for that. But we're looking for other ways to create revenue too.
Do you do sponsorships?
We do, yep. We have signs that are out there. Last year, I think we made around $2,000 on the signs, on the sponsorships. And if anybody's been there, last year was a good year. We spent a lot of money. We redid the walking path. We repaved half of it. It would be the west side because it's kind of wooded around there, and the tree roots were starting to pop up the asphalt, and it was a tripping hazard. So it was kind of like we had to do something. So we were able to save a little money, and Elmer's came in, and it was a big pill. It was like $45,000 that we had to pay, but it had to be done.
I know I was at one time trying to find it, and it wasn't listed properly, or, I mean, GPS couldn't find it, so I was like, oh. And so I'm just wondering if they actually fixed that since then. Clark Street, right?
Yeah, I think it's like 100 Clark Street, I think is the address.
It's across from the football field.
Right across from the football field.
Okay, let's ask the audience. Everyone who's been to Civic Center South at least once, raise your hand. All right, there you go.
Okay, we've got a few.
Now you know. Inquiring minds want to know. Thanks for disclosing all that. I appreciate it. Okay, what's the pleasure? What do you guys want to do? I'm just looking forward to the budget.
I didn't realize that there were 30 families that, from Bike Lake, that threw me, I was surprised by that.
It comes out to be $83 a family. If you want to monetize the contribution, they're $2,500, so. It's probably more than that though,
Is that
because
where the figure comes from?
that's just soccer.
That's just soccer, correct. I don't have the baseball. We don't charge anything for the walking paths. We don't, if you want to go play disc golf, unless there's a tournament, we don't charge anything for that.
I looked at our Park and Rec survey that was done a couple of years ago, and 20% of the people used it either frequently or occasionally, and then the rest didn't. But, I mean,
Was that before COVID or after? Because I think the numbers have really skyrocketed after COVID.
I think it spanned COVID, and it actually, the results came out after, because I think they left it open after. I'd have to look, but I want to say it was 2021, I think, was when the survey was done.
Lisa, could I just ask a quick
Yes,
question?
absolutely.
Do they charge, the only time I was there was for a birthday party, and that was a couple, 3 years ago or so. Do they charge for parties per se?
The pavilion has to be rented out, yes.
Okay, so
Yep.
that's, how much does
I
that
think it's
rent out?
$45.
Okay. I knew that, I thought my granddaughter said there was a fee, but I
Yep.
didn't know how much it was.
Yep, there's a fee.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
There we go.
Well,
We got
I know we've done it in the past, I'm just looking for it.
We have always contributed.
Yep. Just looking to
Yeah,
find
we
it.
have been asking for a survey on the use and stuff, so thank you very much
Yes.
for that information, because
Well, I'm sorry it's taken me this long to get here. I didn't know there was a lag in information coming to the board. And I think it's, me being on Mayfield's board, I'm there, so it's easy to say, well, it's getting used. But you had no idea. So it's like, yeah, it was good that I came tonight. We probably could have got squashed and, like, I don't know anything about this park. It's an active park. There's people there all the time. Our ice skating rink didn't do real well this winter. We had ice for a couple days and then it went away.
Take a ice fishing.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's ice skating rink did well,
No.
unless it was indoors. Unless it was indoors.
The
Right.
skates are still in the closet. Well, if we can do it, I would make a
So,
motion to
okay.
continue to support Civic Center South.
Is there support?
I'll second that.
Okay. I know it's in here somewhere, I'm sure of it. So I'm comfortable doing it, but would you be willing to say, provided that it's in the budget? So that we know that we're not overspending, and then if for some reason I can't find it, then we can come back at the next meeting and just put some money in. Because I'm not seeing a line item for it right
Yeah,
now.
because usually we do for donations and things that we do, it should be somewhere that
Yeah,
we've done.
I'm
it,
sure
but
I just don't know
fine.
what it's called,
Yeah.
but, I just don't.
Provided that it's in our budget.
Yeah,
Yes,
That makes sense to me.
yep, I'm good with
okay,
that.
thank
Do you want
you.
me to read this back?
Please.
Ms. Sorrow made a motion to approve the annual $2,500 Fife Lake Township contribution to Civic Center South, provided available funds are verified in the budget. Does
Yes.
that work?
Yep. All right, any other discussion? Any questions from the audience for Charlie? All right, hearing none. Roll call, Lee, yes, Gifford,
Yes.
Sorrow,
Yes.
Karen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep,
And if you
thank you.
ever have questions, Lisa's got my contact information, just reach out, or if anybody wants a tour around, we've got a little gator we can load you up on and drive around. It's a nice park,
It is.
so I'd rather educate everybody on it than if you're interested.
I would suspect that, do you have the disc golf app that your users, do they use that disc golf app at your location? Because like at Green Lake, Marv can show, he can tell exactly how many people came from how many states, how many countries, how many
Really?
places
I don't know,
on their course specifically.
right?
And that would be a great way, because I think a lot of disc golfers that play here probably play over there. too.
Sure. I will look into that, because that is a good number to have.
Yeah, it's something to do with that guy that designed their course, Avery something or other.
Okay.
So, I'm not as well versed in that as I
Yeah.
probably should.
How long is the walking trail? Is that like
the-
half a mile or,
The paved walking trail is a mile.
oh, a mile?
Yep, and then there's a jog that goes through some property that was donated, and that's an additional, I think it's a half mile, just over a half mile, but that's not paved.
Okay.
I have a question. Lisa's comment, I think, just answered it. So it's available for use by people outside of Grand Traverse County?
It
As
is,
well.
yeah, there's a gate on the front, but we never shut it, so, I was there once, I go on the weekends and just check things, and there was a team from Cadillac playing softball there, and I was like, what are you guys doing here? They're like, oh, well, we knew this field was available, so we came up, and they hadn't paid their fees, so they just showed up.
The walking
Right.
trail, I mean, is it
Yep.
open to the public?
Yes.
Or is it a county?
Nope, it's open to the public.
Okay.
Technically, it's our property, it's our park.
I would ask you this, because I played quite a bit of disc golf. Do you have a donation?
There's a donation jar at the very beginning of it.
Okay.
Yep, there's a big steel tube that people can put money in.
All right.
And anytime you wanna come over and empty it for me, you can come over, because it's gross. It gets bees inside of there, and yeah, it's always scary to open it.
All right, thanks for talking us out of that, John. Good to see you, Charlie, thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
If it's okay, I'd like to leave. My daughter's playing basketball right now, so I will take off.
Absolutely.
Thank you. But if you have any
We won't
questions
lock
about
you
the
in.
park,
Tom's gonna
Please.
escort you out right now?
please just let me know. Thank you.
Sorry, if I would've known you were coming, I would've moved you up. All right, we already, okay, we're on planning commission budget. We got the planning commission annual report from Marcia, and we got their budget request. And as we talked about, we're working on last year's budget to actual to figure out where they are, but moving forward, we're going to start fresh for right now, so this is what they're asking for. So it's split with the village 50-50. We would pay half, they would pay half. We currently have money left in our budget this year that would cover this, that would more than cover this, I believe, our portion of this year before we change fiscal years. But I still want to see where those expenses shake out to make sure that we're good there. But I feel comfortable approving their budget and splitting this with the village. It's $35,000, just so you all know. $2,700 on the recording secretary, $1,500 on training, $5,100 on regular meetings, $1,275 on special meetings, $400 on office supplies, $4,000 on their attorney, $6,000 on a planning expert to help them with the master plan and the zoning. They have $300 in mileage, although I don't know if they've ever actually used their mileage. $1,000 in publishing, $5,000 to save toward the working on the zoning ordinance, $3,600 in insurance, and a contingency of $2,125. Is there a motion to approve their budget?
Gifford, make that motion.
Sorrow will second.
Alright, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Levy, yes. Sorrow?
Yes.
Gifford?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay. Alright, we already talked about cemetery, so now we can move along to, I had a category under old business for the zoning, because we've been talking about that regularly, but I felt that we should talk about this under new business. We talked about expanding our zoning administrator position to include an ordinance enforcement component to it. in order to do that, we had to create an ordinance enforcement officer ordinance. Just gonna say that 2 times or 3 times fast. So in order, we probably had one, we think we had one in the past, but we were not able to locate it, so we're just going
It was connected
to.
to the old zoning ordinance
Right.
and got dropped.
Well, this one isn't specific just to zoning, this is also police power. It's a one page that I pulled off of MTA. It's the exact same one that Garfield Township is using with their personalization. I literally just personalized the MTA version for us. And it just gives us it creates the position that someone can actually go out and be ordinance enforcement versus just zoning enforcement. Then we can expand that position a little bit and have a little bit more time toward those police power, like nuisance ordinance, like junk, and the zoning as well. So we can combine those into a bigger position and hopefully attract someone that, candidates that would be qualified to be able to do that. So is there a motion to adopt this ordinance enforcement officer ordinance?
Sarah will second it.
Good work, good work.
All right. And just as a point on the discussion, if this is, once we adopt this, it gets published in the newspaper and it goes into effect once it's been published, and we wait 15 days after that, and then it actually goes into effect, so.
Will it just be that page, or do I need to
Yep.
get like a synopsis? Okay,
Just this page.
just
So,
that page.
Okay, roll call, Sarl,
Yes.
Lee, yes, Gifford,
Yes.
okay, motion carries. Okay, now the next thing toward expanding this is the zoning budget, because we only had $9,000 in for our zoning wages for our zoning administrator for the whole year. That's not enough to invest in zoning, and I think we've all seen the tense situations that a community can be put on when, we just aren't appropriately staffed or whatever. So as I mentioned in a past meeting or two, I started looking through our different budget items that have extra money in them that can only be used for certain things. And one of the purposes of creating this ordinance enforcement role is because I can take a little bit of the almost $300,000 fund balance out of our police fund, because we only spend about $100,000 a year on that, and we have an excessive fund balance on that, and we're still collecting. But now we can actually use that for services toward the citizens right now. So I know we won't always be able to use the fund balance, but it gives us time to build that into the budget a little bit over time, a little bit at a time over time. So what I did was I gave you a breakdown of what a 1-year proposal, what I'm proposing that we put into for the 1 year, but we're not really looking at adopting the 1 year right now because our budget year changes July 1st. So then below that, I have it broken out into the 3-month budget. So for the 3 months of this year remaining, if we were to hire someone by the time we post a job, hire someone, maybe they start in April, we have from April till June 30th on this budget year, and then we would have to put this money into the next budget year. So I wanted you to see what it would look like for a whole year so that you could decide whether you think this looks right. And so what I have in here is for the whole category of budget, meaning the wages, all the payroll taxes and all that, supplies, the legal expenses that go into zoning, communications, transportation and mileage, printing and publication, professional development and membership, I have it at $54,000. And how I came out with that was, we had $9,000, I just said $9,000 out of our general fund, $12,000 can come out of our marijuana licenses. I wanted to pull some money out of our liquor fund, but I could not find the liquor fund for this last year, so that's another item that is in there for 2020. It's in there, but it's not in there for the last 2 years, so I didn't take any money out of there because I couldn't figure out what was happening with that. So we'll have $9,000 out of general fund, $12,000 out of the marijuana money, because that's an eligible expense out of the marijuana money, and $33,000 out of the police fund for this, if we were to adopt it as a full year, for the total of $54,000. So then if you break that down into the next 3 months, it's $2,000 that we already have still in our general fund, or in our budgeted item that we have, $3,000 in the marijuana, out of the marijuana fund, and $8,500 out of the police fund, for a total of $13,500 for this next 3 months. If we were to go forward with this, we have to do 2 budget amendments, and then we would have to create a new job description with new expectations, and then post that job at potentially our next meeting, so that then we could do some interviews in April and hopefully have someone in place by the April meeting, maybe, or the end of April. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so is there a motion to make the proposed budget amendments to take $3,000 out of the marijuana revenue and move it to zoning, and $8,500 from the police fund to move it to zoning?
Sarah will make that motion.
For a second.
All right. Is there any other questions or discussion? I have the fund balances on those 2 on the back of the sheet, but it's just really small. Okay. Hearing none, roll call. Leedy, yes. Gifford?
Yes.
Sorrow?
Yes.
All right, motion carries. So I'll work on a job description revision. When I went to the zoning class 2 weeks ago, they gave me a stack of job descriptions depending on how we want this to look. So I thought I'd take what we already have and combine it with what looks like the best. Jamie, actually, Warner has been helping me work on our existing forms and documents to clean up some of the zoning forms and documents, because our ordinance, or our land use permit application had the wrong email address on it, had Kalkaska County on there instead of.
I mean, that's what we've
Oh,
used in the
perfect.
past, so.
So I'll take, she's been helping me, so we'll combine those, come up with a good job description to present, to see what you guys think of it at the next meeting, if that works. And then if we like it, then we could post a position and hopefully do interviews in April. If that sounds good.
Yep.
Okay. And then I'm hoping that in that position, we can expand that so that this person would have some office hours almost every day, if not every day. They would be able to cover the complaint side of it, and then work with Chris on site visits and things for those sites. Because some of our sites that start out to be junk, this one that he just did this restaurant, this came to me as a junk complaint to start. I do zoning in other areas, and I know sometimes when I drive up to a place and the hair goes up on my neck, I know that I'm just not gonna go there by myself, so.
But I go there, it's.
But you take a go.
I guess I go there.
You go, man.
I'm losing my hair, I don't know.
Vest, right. I don't have that cool vest.
Yeah.
Although one of my communities gave me a badge, but it's gold, so it doesn't go with all my jewelry.
Look at that.
Badge detective?
What I'm hoping to do is this ordinance enforcement person would work with Chris on those ones, but I would really like it to be more of a community engagement role where they're working with people. For those of you who haven't been here in a minute, the places where I'm doing zoning, I'm trying to work with people one-on-one to solve the problem so that it doesn't create a legal, financial burden on the township that we'll never recoup the costs on. So what's the barrier to your junk or your whatever you have going on? And how can we help solve that? Because there are agencies and resources out there for some people, and that's not gonna solve all of it, but I've had great success in cleaning up properties by doing that, so working with the landowner. So I've got a few that I visit on a regular basis, so, and they just need that encouragement. So I think having someone in that role will help work on that piece of it, and then that'll also give us some office coverage potentially, so that there is some consistency and continuity here, because poor Fred, every time he tries to get Leanne or I here, it's like chasing us around trying to figure out when we're gonna be here, because we don't have consistent office hours. So I think that would be helpful for everyone, and it would provide some continuity, so. All right, moving along past zoning. Oh, I did do one land use permit this month. I don't have any new committee applications, and I'm not aware of any new vacancies. We still have a vacancy on board of review, if anyone's interested. We still have a ZBA vacancy, and I don't really know what's going on with that Oak Wilt. Did you guys do anything with that Oak Wilt committee? No, okay. I'm good.
In FLAUA, our meeting last night, we got Shane all situated, and between Shane and
Cindy White.
Cindy White, yep. In fact, I was able to pass on the secretary responsibilities to Cindy White.
Well, congratulations.
I was also able to pass on that.
Well, thank you, Cindy, for taking that on.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you to Shane for being our newly appointed rep for that.
Brought some great stuff for the board. Nice fresh blood's always good.
They tried to get me over the rubber gloves. I said, that ain't happening.
Okay, so
Newly appointed what?
the fire department was here
the sewer
when we
board.
got here, and then
Oh.
they vacated. And of course, the parking is always an issue, and I parked in that driveway right there, and somebody didn't like it. But, I text you after the fact, because it was like all of a sudden there was no parking spaces. So we may have to look into it, but honestly, I don't know. I mean, the board, we talked about it, it's like one Wednesday out of the month, and the fire department can use it every other Wednesday. But I mean, if it's that, if they need the room, I mean, if they can't figure out something one Wednesday out of the month as far as their training and maybe doing something, like doing their training before and then using the room after, because we're here for an hour or two at the tops. Like, we talked about using the plant, but if we had people come, we can't use the plant. That wouldn't work well. That'd be a huge liability.
The issue with the fire department is, like, the last month, they had CPR scheduled for in this room, and then they had to scramble and try to find tables and chairs and all that to go put it out in the barn, and then there wasn't parking, and, you know, it was chaos in the parking lot, so that's hard for them to move the trucks out, because then they're parked in front of the bays, so that if they had a call, they had to move the trucks out. That's the biggest issue, so I think you guys should move up to Springfield, as Springfield's turn to host you. They'd be happy to do it.
Well, we threw that out there. The village has got stuff going on Wednesday, or, you know, like they said, maybe we can change the date.
Yeah.
So, we'll have to play with it, but like I said, it's not gonna happen overnight, you know?
Right.
They gotta give us time, like, so, January's meeting got rescheduled to later in January, and, you know what I mean? It was just like, we just didn't have, over the holidays and stuff, so we talked about it a little bit harder last night, and next month, we'll still probably plan on being here. I'll talk to Scott and then see if they had something like that going on. I get it, but you know, sometimes it's just same old, like they're, in the spring, they do a lot of their training down at the lake, they're not even here. So, but if things are getting a little bit different, the dynamics are changing up a little bit, so I'm sure we can come up to something that'll work
Yep.
for all of us, so.
Lisa, before you move forward, can I back up on these committees? FLAUA was the first committee listed. Leanne announced the 2 appointments that have been made there, and then as far as the board review and the ZBA, you're just announcing there are openings, vacancies?
We still have openings from the last couple of meetings.
Okay.
So we haven't had any new applicants.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Thanks.
And the joint Oak Quilt Committee with the village hasn't moved forward on that committee. And our contingency on our motion was if they did a committee, we would go in with them. But even though we have an interested person that wants to be on the committee, I said we have to wait until the village does a committee. If they want to do a committee, we'll appoint people and do it collaboratively, but we really weren't gonna do it.
We need to do something that's important.
Yeah,
I
so,
pulled the verbiage from,
yep. So we approved the committee contingent upon the village approving it, so.
Balls in your court, Tom.
Okay.
No pressure or anything.
It is important.
Add it to the
Very tough.
Listen, I understand. It's okay. So, all right, outstanding task list. We had a lot of, I feel like our tech guy was rolling out while you guys were rolling in today. And thank you. I never can find it.
When you would go from office to office.
Yeah.
It's the last, always the very last thing.
Yeah, we actually thought we got hacked because we were having so many problems for the past week. We couldn't do anything, so it was chaos. I wrote notes on mine, but it's
Yeah,
fine.
it's the very last thing in your packet.
All right, I took all of mine out of order. I wrote all over it, and then I started over there, so. Lorianne, you got Lorianne's resignation from the policy committee. I don't know, Shane, did you see that? And I haven't had a chance to get with Shane. I went on vacation for a week and came back, and I'm having trouble catching up.
Yeah, I seen that.
So, the board review vacancies are posted. I just wanted, since I saw some people I haven't seen in a minute, I thought I'd mention it.
do you want me to leave that or remove that?
You can just leave that.
Okay.
I have reached out to several of the groups. DDA isn't our responsibility, so that shouldn't probably be on there, but I still have to get with ZBA on the Michigan. Did you register us yet?
March is the deadline for
Okay.
early bird, so I was given us the time to make.
Okay.
I thought it was January.
So I need to circle back around with Marcia to find out if they want to go, and there is a ZBA class coming up for the ZBA, and we appointed someone new that I need to reach out to her and see if she wants to attend that. Otherwise, I thought I'd see if she wanted to attend MTA. So I still have a couple of people to reach out to there. I haven't gotten through everyone yet. Their early bird deadline is March, okay, just so you know.
March.
The YouTube channel
I know.
has been quite the adventure. I opened my big mouth and said
Sometime in
YouTube,
March.
and we thought we were live, and we were live earlier when we did our test. And then as soon as we went to click live for this meeting, it's just spinning. So I don't know what's going on. It could be our internet issue still, so I have no idea if we're live or not, but if not, I will post the recorded meeting on the YouTube channel after the fact. We started to go live, well, thank you for everyone for liking the page, because once we clicked live last month, it said we couldn't go live because we didn't have 50 followers. So thanks to everyone who followed us. Now we have 50 followers, and I have one video on there, so we'll have 2 videos on there. The IT guy, we had it all figured out. We did 2 test runs. Everything worked beautifully. We had it ready to go. We clicked it, and then it set and spun. So everyone that was texting me as I was rolling in here hot said, all I can see is an empty room. So for those who are probably getting on me out there,
You go back to the pledge and start over?
I mean,
Everybody
we
does it
could
again?
start over. Yeah, can you see it?
You got 6 minutes and 53 seconds.
Oh,
That was
video? Okay.
Yeah.
So it could be our internet or something going on there. I don't really know. The tech guy had it all. We finally thought, okay, we got this. We're slam dunking it, and
Spectrum had an outage today.
you what?
Spectrum had an outage that
Yeah, and
affected a lot of.
we actually had an outage. We've had an intermittent outage off and on, mostly off than on for at least a week, since a week ago Wednesday. So, and we weren't getting emails, and we had all kinds of other problems that kind of went along with it. So we thought we got hacked, but we weren't sure what went on, so.
Lisa, do
Well-
I delete that one?
So you can
Or leave it?
delete it because it's up. I just don't know what's causing it to not be live. So if I have to call the tech guy back, I will, but I was gonna just set my phone up if for some reason I couldn't. And then earlier today, then cell phones were out too, so I was thinking, oh, okay, of course, so. But you can leave it on there because I'll still have to chase it. The budget review, I'm still working on that, but that is due, our budget has to be adopted by June. Our salary resolution should be done in May. So I worked on the departmental budgets, trying to figure out to convert our old budget style to this new chart of accounts that we should have been on fully, but we're not yet, and we'll get there. So that's just an ongoing thing as far as budget, so you can just leave that on there. Oh, it was the prior budget, was it? You can take that off. I think we resolved that last month.
Your weed committee budget should be done by August, the end of August, for special assessment.
Fantastic. There's a guy that wants to come on our agenda in a month or two to talk about that. Like a professional,
Surveyor.
I'll let you know. I don't have him on my brain today. As far as the H&R Block stuff, you can take that off. That's all been taken care of. The cemetery lot ownership form, I have not put on the website yet. We're still working on the website cleanup. That kind of stalled for a second.
Did that
so.
woman call you? About what we can kill off the hill. They have spots, I think in Walton, and they don't even know what we're like, so. They purchased it years ago, on forever,
I'd
so.
like to get a lease on that.
Yeah, I give you your number.
Oh, okay.
So the updated schedule of fees has been put in some places, but I have to get that FOIA form updated because I didn't update that yet. I don't know who has the original of that, but I can update the PDF, but.
Okay, got it. the original.
Did the J&N Properties, I did let them know their license was approved. Did you, Leanne, did you send them their certificate or whatever?
I sure did, so I'm a little confused on the certificate. Where do I get the certificate?
I don't know, you gave them one last year.
I got it from the attorney. Dave made it and
Oh.
sent it to me, and then I looked over, and I mean, it was just a good certificate after this. And so, that's what I did.
Can you just edit the one you had did last year to change the date?
Let me check that out.
Okay, but I did let them know that they were approved. Um,
My attention span.
Okay, you can take that Department of Treasury thing off from the Capital Conference, we already did that. I did have a meeting, a call with the Department of Treasury today about their next budget, chart of account changes or whatever, which was exciting as all watching paint dry, but it was important to listen to, so as I'm working through the budget, there's a couple of things that we have to tweak to make sure we're in compliance with their current rules. And they have an open comment period about their new rules. If you have something you want to say about it, it closes tomorrow. I'm not gonna say a word. So I'm just gonna mind my business and get it done, so. We did the written response with Bob Hall. Leanne and I worked on that. I think we just sent that out to him now, because we were kind of going back and forth on it. The swine howl, he won't get the new budget chart of accounts until I get the draft done. I'll send it to him then. And then the ARPA report, we'll be doing April. I won't have anything to do on that until, the cycle closes the end of March and it's due by the end of April, so I have to do it sometime between April 1st and April 30th. So. The ordinance enforcement officer role, that's ongoing. We're still checking on that, or still working on that. Reimbursement rates. Okay, the meeting reimbursement rates we're gonna do as part of the salary, so that'll just be part of the budget.
Does that come off then?
You can take it off because it's just part of the standard budget process.
Okay.
You're supposed to do a meeting, or resolution on your salaries every year, 30 days before you enact your salary change. And whatever your wages are gonna be, you set the wages. And it can't go into effect for 30 days. So whenever you voted in. So theoretically, we would vote our salaries and budget in together in May, hopefully. Termination for, bless you, for board meeting rates from other groups. You can leave that on there because I think we're still trying to figure that out. The joint Oakville committee with the village, you can leave that on.
Well, the ball's in Tom's court.
The answer to the next question is because we are elected. So you can take that off. They are appointed and we're elected. I think that's the difference. That's what.
Oh, for the Zoom.
Yeah. Millage collection verification. Okay, that's an ongoing item, you can leave that on. The DEQ watershed, we'll be working with the weed committee on that, so you can leave that on there. I did speak with Steve McConkey about their property. There is no action. He had withdrawn his action a long time ago and there was no new thing going on, but I did talk to him and we are gonna regroup when the weather breaks, and just talk about whatever he was trying to accomplish last time that didn't end up happening or whatever, to see if, as the planning commission works through the master plan, there might be some changes. I would suggest that we have a separate zoning district for the islands because they're different. So we're trying to fit their setbacks and all the other things in with all the rest of the zoning doesn't really make sense, so.
Do you want that removed then?
You can leave it on there if you want. We haven't done anything with it. I did speak with him though.
I'll just delete that, no response to email yet.
Yeah. And then the next two I haven't done anything on. I didn't go out and sign the property for hunting. Digital updated version of committee members. We have that. So the digital updated version of the committee members you can take off. That exists already. Hopefully you get fully executed, signed, and dated. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to, I ask this every month, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with this. It's the ordinance and amendments, and it says to work with Lee to find all of them, to get them all in one place.
That's a work in progress, for sure.
I recall that being, just what it says, every ordinance or amendment, the most recent signed version in one place in the computer.
In the computer. So we do have.
That's what I recall.
I don't have any of those though, that's why I'm asking why it's on my list. Every month,
Well,
I
think
ask.
it was on Jerry-Ann's list.
Well, you
And that's
can,
why it says older
I think you
prior
can move that
to.
to Leanne's list. What do you think?
And,
I'm willing to work with her on it, but I
remember
think
that
that
big
goes
long
on.
list and you said, okay, put that here, put
Yeah,
that there.
I think you have to move there because I don't have anything.
I think Dawn and I were starting to work on that, but, and we'll get back on
Okay.
track with that.
Yes,
So
I'm not
we
worried
can
about it, I
do
just,
For sure.
I see it on there every month and I don't know.
Just an
how that
organizational
applies.
thing that
It's a
needs to
big
be
one.
done, for
So,
sure.
gee, why isn't that listed under you, Lee?
I don't know, I probably moved it to Lisa. And she wasn't looking.
That was
What
pretty
happens when you
slick.
Go to the bathroom.
See what happens? See what happens
Did
when
you
I
say-
stop to snack on those cookies?
Did you say you and Dawn were gonna work on it?
Yes.
Okay.
Someone's gonna work on it, but I don't have access to that, so I can't really do much with that, so that has to come off. And then I talked to Scott about this nuisance burn, and it doesn't sound like he even really knew. I think this can come off, because if he's ready to do that, he'll bring it forward, but he wasn't aware that we were actively waiting for him to do something with this. so.
Yeah, it's been there quite some time.
Nicole was working with them on that.
Okay, so you can just remove that for now, and if it circles back around, then we'll put it back on.
So all the older priors are deleted.
Thank you. Except for the one you put to my list.
Right.
It's not really a deletion.
It was that false alarm for fire and illegal burns for the ordinance, but
So MTA annual conference, early registration, like I said, I thought it was in January, but it's not till March, so being the procrastinator that I am, I'd rather wait till March. And make sure that everybody knows, like you said, there's some boards that we still need to reach out to, make sure all of our people know that there's some training out there and they're very much part of it. Advise Wexford Door Service, their bid for the fire barn was accepted. They have talked to them and they have talked to you as well. So.
I saw it on MTA.
Did you? So you should be able to remove that, but I think they still need 50%, so I haven't been in contact with them now. They're supposed to send me. And maybe they couldn't because of the email situation, so I may have to recall them.
Do you want that
No, go ahead and remove it.
taken off? Okay.
Yeah. And sign the Jan Properties license renewal forward to you, which, is that the GNN, the one that came through?
The JN, now you'll have to do the ones that we
JNN.
approved tonight too, but that's that, whatever certificate that you had before.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll call Dave.
I have not tackled the pile of stuff on the zoning desk, so it's entirely possible that that big mound of stuff that's on the zoning desk, that that certificate might be in there.
And publish the public accuracy, that's done, been published and done. Call MEM, the power plan regarding bond for Kathy, which we did do, and they
Yep.
sent us the information. But now I have to find, the count is something when you file your papers, I gotta figure that out, so just remove that, Kate.
The power plan?
Prepare written response with Lisa to Bob Hall, we've done that already, it's been sent. And we do have, we do have all the information, if anybody needs to look at it on the board here, that, we can back up what we're saying. What a company, it was, oh, that's how it is, I have the September 28th minutes that goes over all this stuff, and his contract actually calls him an hourly employee, or contractor. And I think that's it, search for past ordinance that included, and, okay, the ordinance enforcement officer. Like I said, I believe that was a part of our zoning ordinance way back when, and it was in the very back of the book. But that was removed when we redid the zoning ordinance 2010. So I believe that it got removed at that time.
So you can take that out, because we just adopted an ordinance, so the very last line says this ordinance supersedes any prior ordinance enforcement ordinance. That should have been the $1 for every time I said that word.
And Nicole, as far as that, I talked to Mark, he said he's reached out to her several times. He's not getting anywhere. So I don't know if we want to continue to have that on the list, or should we just remove it, or, I mean, I have a whole file of papers that have never been picked up, so.
You know, when the last time you talked about it?
It was in October. It's the last time she was here, I believe, so. I mean, I'm not gonna continue to put stuff in her file because it's overflowing as it is, and I'm just gonna actually remove the stuff that's there and create a file for her. If she wants it, she can come and get it, or whatever.
Okay.
So you want that off?
Yeah.
You still need to get the trustee 2 email set up though, right?
When we have a trustee too, for sure.
Okay.
I don't think she's using it, so I think it doesn't matter at this point.
Stuff for it.
Okay.
And then, are we on to me?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going. Yeah, he still has a pull-behind trailer for the cemetery equipment. You like that since you made notes on it? I don't need
No,
it.
I scribbled all over yours like as if it was mine, sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, my pencil got away from me.
All right, so this is the only thing that I need to put in the newspaper then, right, the ordinance?
Yep,
Just so I don't lose my mind.
just within,
As soon as possible.
Yep.
All right, I want to see the agenda, so now I'll share
All right.
with you.
There we go. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. Citizen comment. Is there anyone else that would like to comment? Deb?
Deb Newell, 8227 Wilpet Drive, Five Lake. Regarding the committees, regarding the weed one with my son Nick, who put in his application, when will he be sworn in so he can start communicating with the new members and the existing members?
So I'm gonna send out all the members of the committees that I haven't yet reached out to that we appointed at the last meeting, because I'm a little bit behind on that. And then I don't know when, John might know when you guys start the committee meetings or whatever, or when you start activity on that. I'm not sure when that is, but I'm happy to, I'll send him out an email and let him know that I can meet him to swear him in, get him all squared away, and get him like the contact of everybody that's in the committee, and that way everybody's got each other's, because Dar's on that too, I think, so.
Right, yeah, because he went to Springfield's meeting, but he didn't say anything yet because it has not been official, so.
Yep, so we'll get him sworn in and
Okay.
all that, so.
And you answered the
He
same
just
thing
has
with
to
the
be
lake.
sworn in to communicate, I mean, he could give us.
As a
call.
committee member, they don't have to necessarily be sworn in unless they're, but he probably needs the contact information. They do, if they're planning commission, ZBA, board of review, any of those have to be sworn in, but regular committees don't, but he's gonna want the committee description and the contact information for everybody on there, and he probably will want, I gave Fred the printed copy of the milfoil map and the text numbers. So he has that, but they may all want that, so I can connect them all by email and then send all the documents to them. We're a little behind on electronic communication right now, which is usually my preferred, but our challenges this last week have been
Because I
real.
can swear at him anytime you want me to.
That's not what she's saying.
Nah, I've never had to, so.
No, I made the mistake of going on vacation in the beginning of the month. I should have gone on vacation this last week because I couldn't get anything done, so.
Right?
Anyway, is there any other public comment?
I'm gonna say goodnight to y'all. I do wanna say how nice it is, even if the YouTube shut off at 6 minutes, how nice it is that you're making an effort so that people can be informed, and that's gonna be a good thing to do, so.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. We're trying to get a little bit better on our website and get our presence out there and get information out there for people so they know, but.
You're doing a
it's-
fantastic job.
Thank you.
already.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
All right, you have a good night.
Thanks, you too, Shane. Any other public comment?
Yep,
George?
George Gall, 314 Pierce Street. How many meetings can you miss, board members, without getting knocked off?
Unfortunately, the voters voted in all the board members, so we don't have any say in whether a person shows up or not. So if a person misses every single meeting, they can still collect their check, and they can still be considered a trustee and hold that spot.
Until
So,
November 2024.
until November 20th
Yeah,
of
we used to
2024.
have a 3-meeting deal.
Because they're elected, we don't get a say there. They would have to have been recalled by the citizens in order to have them removed. And they can only be recalled in the middle of their term, not in the beginning or the end of their term, so, unfortunately. So they can still collect a paycheck and they don't have to show up at all, so. Committees can be removed if you do a public hearing and all that, you know, if you appoint someone to a committee and they're not, then the board can remove them. But a elected person, unfortunately, that is not the case.
Thank you.
That's what an election means. You're elected.
Yep. Is there other public comment? All right, hearing none. Board meeting, or board member comments and updates. Just so you guys know, the next MTA local chapter lunch is March 7th, and it is at East Bay Township, I believe. I've been going to the supervisor meetings for the most part, except for I didn't go to the last one. I think Daryl was at the last one, but I didn't go to the last one. It was about the chart trails, because I was at the road commission meeting earlier that day, and we just couldn't make both, so.
I'm just gonna give you this so you can, you have that in your packet, just so we know. We'll write on there, give that to Emily, because I keep forgetting about it.
Okay. Yep.
Simple enough, I just
Sounds
keep
good.
forgetting about it.
Thank you. All right, do you guys have anything?
Motion to adjourn.
About the penalty thing, so just wait. Just wait.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna put it on the agenda if you wanna say something or whatever.
Yeah, for the penalty that starts usually February 15th to the last day that I collect, we add 3%. I have learned other townships and been in touch with MTA that we can waive that, which would be make a lot of people, including myself, much happier. So we will be bringing that next month.
That's property taxes, or?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
It is a
For
huge
late
inconvenience for
payment, is that what it
people,
is?
and, yeah.
Lee, anything?
Not a thing. I'm sure I'd be like, oh man, and she's like, oh man.
It's been busy lately.
Yeah, really, well, the problem is with our communication with our computers and the printer and stuff has been just making me crazy.
I'll let you make the motion.
Oh.